there was a lot of very serious business before UNO, with Russia's atom bomb and the note to Yugoslavia, to mention only two of the outstanding problems. The American delegation, with Mrs. Roosevelt prominent, were ready for whatever might eventuate, and the Yugoslavs right on top of the headlines. Mr. Wyszynski, leading the Russian contingent, was in for a lot of adverse criticism, mainly levelled by the foreign minister, seen here with Sir Alexander Cadogan. Mr. Bevin got a great reception from the delegates.
Mr. President, members of the Assembly, I desire to make some observations and to express my country's views regarding some of the problems now before this Assembly. The Atlantic Pact is one of the great events of history. The threatening language used by Mr. Wyszynski in his speech of last Friday is the same that has been fed to us year after year. It is a constant repetition of untruths in the hope that if you keep repeating them often enough, someone will believe them. For 3 years, we've been trying to conclude an Austrian treaty. Now, in the light of this new declaration, I'm hopeful of a solution. It is, however, difficult to reconcile this declaration that we must settle by mutual discussion with the language used in the Soviet note to Yugoslavia. Now, sir, Yugoslavia is an independent country. It is a member of this Assembly. But there's nothing in this note that I can detect that says that if a satisfactory solution is not reached, then it will be referred to the United Nations or the Security Council or any other instrument of this body. What it does says that the Soviet government alone will determine the instrument and use it. It says they will use more effectual methods. What were the methods in their mind? Is it the endangering of the security and integrity of Yugoslavia? And what is more, are they endangering the peace of the world? We have some unhappy memories of events beginning in that part of the world in history. Is it the intention of the Soviet to resort to some dastardly means?
On the subject of Russia's possession of the atomic bomb and the demand for what amounts almost to one-way control of it, Mr. Bevin had this question to raise.
Are we now to understand that the Soviet government will now accept the decision of the United Nations? Notwithstanding all our disappointments and these great problems, I yet assert the United Nations has performed a great task. We shall not build a world organization in a day or a year, but it will grow. Therefore, in spite of frustrations, it is the people's will I'm convinced we should go forward and not lose sight of the great objective that man has always had before it: universal peace, universal brotherhood, and a means to settle all disputes without resort to force.